freeze!
Welcome back to the next part of this Truth and Rhythm episode. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. If you've already done so, please share it with friends. Also become a member by joining Truth and Rhythm on Patreon, or consider donating at funkinstuff.net. Thank you so much for your interest and support. Enjoy.
You went out and toured after Showtime was released? How much did you play live with Slave?
Actually, I was playing live with them right after the finish of. I was doing live with Stone Jam.
Okay. Yeah, I love that album too.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I mean,
I really love that album, man. It's a nice album.
Great variety on it, and that title track is just kind of, it showed like the sort of epic kind of tracks that they were capable of doing with.
Them dudes is good, man. Danny and Drac were unique rhythm players. When they put a pocket down and recorded, they were good, man. Like I said, I've been around some nice jazz guys, some nice players, and they had a nice feel. When they did some stuff that was comparable to a lot of things that you heard. Kevin Eubanks was on some of the things we did with Steve Arrington, right?
Yeah, I was going to jump to that next because I want to know how you ended up, leaving with Steve, and why did that kind of happen, and why did you go with that?
Why I left with Steve to go play there?
Yeah.
We were actually there were some things going on that was going in a different direction than what we wanted to do. And so we came up with an idea to do a different band with the long-term objective of spinning off other bands. And so the first band we were going to do was Hall of Fame. Then one of the things we had planned to do was to spin off and do a separate thing for Steve Arrington. But somehow it ended up being Steve Arrington Hall of Fame, which I didn't think was a good idea because you can't separate it as easy. Because once you do that, to the market, from a marketing perspective, it looks like something got lost. If you start off as Hall of Fame and then you spin off the other one, Hall of Fame is still a marketable piece for what it is. And you can still be playing together. I saw that with the jazz guys. That's one of the things I learned from jazz guys. These guys go in and they go record a whole bunch of stuff. 5 guys, they record a whole bunch of stuff. All the same 5 guys. But they divided up, say they had 20 tunes. They divide them up. Then you do them on this album and they're called You, and you do it on this album, it's called You. You do it on this album, it's called You. It's the same guy.
Well, George Clem was notorious for that.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not new. It was something that was done a lot of. But that they didn't get that concept. Just hadn't. Like I said, I had been around different things, so they didn't get that concept. So it didn't last long, and I got out, and But I was married and I had kids to feed, so I went back to school.
That was a great album, though. I mean,
Yeah, well, yeah, but I agree. But you got to be able to build on it.
it was incredible debut, so to speak. And as a fan, I was always just so curious, like volume 1, okay, when is 2 coming, And
yeah, I get it. Like I said, we were young. I don't have any negative critical things to say about the band and Steve and all that. We were young, and my experience was my experience. I'm not saying it's better than anybody else's. And my experience told me that it was a better way to approach that, because I had seen it work successfully. Not that you have to. There's no cookie cutter here. I'm just talking about the concept works successfully if you know how to do it. Because that's what a lot of them do. So anyway, I went back to school and had to finish college, and because I had kids to feed.
Yeah,
I didn't have time for all that.
Life moves on, man. You got
man. You got I can't. I'm not gonna make my kids starve and then destroy my home to chase that stuff. That's it's not gonna happen.
I do want viewers to know that you have co-writing credit for Way Out, which was one of the top tracks on that record. So yeah. I was surprised too, Sam, that some of those weren't bigger hit singles than they were. Living in Los Angeles is where I came up in LA, and those songs were all played on the radio constantly. And then I went and looked, and I saw that nationally they weren't all as big a hits as I thought maybe they were.
Yeah. Yeah, you're hitting in another whole program. That's another whole program.
What, the marketing?
Yeah, marketing, how you're getting played in different markets,
right.
Rotation, how that goes down. It's a whole different, it's a different animal, man. We got it stuck to us in a lot of ways. That's all I can say. By that time, we had a lot of stuff. After a while, we had tons of stuff that were being sampled. And all of the hip hop guys were building their reputation off of our work. And it took a while to untangle that. And we didn't have the money to fight those guys because record companies, they were making millions of dollars, and they taking your stuff and then using the money they make off your stuff to keep you from getting your money for your stuff. You don't have enough money to fight that. And finally, when it got to the point where, because it was kind of a new thing, nobody really done that. And all we're saying is, man, you're using our stuff. I mean, just give me, how about $1 or $2? They fight you, don't want to give you nothing. Somehow they finally got through it, and then they said, okay, I tell you what, the courts. We'll go back this far, but no further. How come? And the answer is because your lawyers don't pay us the way their lawyers pay us. So we're determined that we're not going any further back. But say, wait, this is where all the money was made. Yeah, exactly. And we're not giving that up. Yeah, it is what it is, man. You know what's going on.
Viewers ought to know that you were also on the Positive Power album with Steve Arrington, which I really liked also. Again, that track 15 Rounds, really good funk track, but didn't go up as high as I thought it should have. Yeah. And you co-wrote Mellow as a Cello, really great slow song. And then you mentioned that you left, but you came back in some capacity later on, at least, because you have credits later in the 80s with Slave. How did that come about, or we
recorded tons of stuff.
So that was actually stuff recorded early 80s?
We recorded tons of stuff. I'm telling you, man, there's enough stuff even to this day that I know nobody's heard.
Wow.
But we would spend a lot of time recording. Jimmy Douglas was our producer, smart dude. He knew when to make that light red. So we had a lot of stuff, but we've been through a lot of those, and it's been fun and all that. I've been through the music. I still like to play now. I've gotten my some new equipment because I want to develop some content. But since I've left there doing the music, I finished college, worked in higher education.
What drew you to that?
Higher ed?
Yeah.
Actually, it was kind of table talk. I had a cousin that asked me to come and work temporarily at a school, and I've been in it ever since. But my uncle, who passed, was more like an older brother, my dad's baby brother. He was the chancellor of the state systems in Connecticut. Built it up really big. Got buildings named after him there in Connecticut at the state universities. So I mean, he was my mentor. It was, again, unplanned. But since then, I've been in there being higher education, and I'm also, right now, I'm associate pastor at Phillips Temple Church. So that's my greatest joy. So I've had fun, man, and I've been blessed, extremely blessed, with the gift of music, to meet guys like you who know the craft and enjoy it. And that music was the last of a good creative time. Because now music has gotten, what the best they can do is take our music and then go into jock type of lyrics and everything. You know, there are some guys that are out there that are doing some nice stuff that are coming about, but that long transition and dry period where the only thing we can do is take this funk stuff and say the most crazy and filthy and out of order things we can and put it out there, because we can't play. We don't know music. So we'll just say some dumb stuff on top of some people that can play music. They made a lot of money doing it.
Yeah. What is there one memory from the road that maybe was really unforgettable? Being part of Slave or Steve Arrington or anything like that, doing some funk out there somewhere. Maybe it was on that P-Funk. You played with P-Funk, you said?
No. We were on tour with P-Funk.
Right.
We opened for them.
But maybe it was one of those shows or some
show. There's some stuff that happened on that. I don't know if you got time for all that, but there are some different shit.
Give us one or two quick hits of something that was memorable for you.
I think the Funkadelic. They were on that raw edge and heading toward what I was talking about, just doing crazy stuff. And I remember they invited a bunch of young ladies up. It was down in, was it North Carolina? A lot of these little college girls up, and they just weren't prepared for the Funkadelic. and they got on stage, and those poor little girls, they were so embarrassed and probably scared, because George and them, those guys were really, they were the beginning of the shock jock musicians, and so they kind of just went running all off the stage and everything, like a little scared, and that was kind of different. But then other than that, man, some of it's different. I mean, you'd be surprised at what I remember and what is there. I remember being on in a place in Texas, and off of 10, we're driving through Texas, and the bus stops, and we go in a place to eat. And we go to the bus stop, we walk in, it's like cling, 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 all the jingling and dishes and people eating. And we walked in and it got quiet as church. It was like creaky. And being a little bit older, the guy said, man, we got to get out of here. And Danny was like, no, man, I want something to eat. They gonna serve. Danny, this ain't the fight. Get on the bus. Get on the bus. Man, it was so, they looked at us like, what are you doing it? Man, we got on the bus and got out of there. Weird stuff, dude.
Even in like 1981, that was
in
happening.
1981, man, we got poured over in South Carolina. But it was, and I'm not exaggerating, there was at least 10 state troop cars full of cops, pull us over. The bus came up, made us stop the bus, get off the bus. We got to get off the bus. And then get out of there. So we're all sleepy, man. We're coming from Florida back up to New York. And it's cold. We had been down in there because, we lived in Florida. And they come out of there. And we got to come out. And they make us, get your hands up. And my brother's like, can I put my jacket on? Boy, if you move, it'd be the last move you make. I'm like, dude, where are we at and what are we doing? So we got our hands up and they make us all go along. And then they take this kid and make him walk in front of us. Is this one of them? And I could see the boy was uncomfortable because he knows this is stupid. Go look at him. And he's walking by us. He said, no, this is not them. No, they didn't. No. And we keep your hands up. It's not him. You know what they had us for? Somebody had robbed the truck stop that we were at. And somebody saw a whole bunch of black guys get on a bus and ride off. So that the trooper wanted to come and get us, and they brought the employee there, and he's trying to tell them, man, these dudes didn't do it. They're not the ones. Dude, that one was a little bit concerning because these guys had shotguns out pointed at us. Mm. And I want to say, how stupid can you hillbillies be to think that we're running around, robbing truck stops and jumping on a bus, making escapes?
They're just looking for a reason,
Dude, you weren't getting a reason from me. But it is stupid. And you kind of feel like you want to knock them upside the head because you're like, dude, you're jamming me, man, and I ain't done nothing to you. You're jamming me just because you can. And you're trying to force this kid who's clearly uncomfortable and trying to get you to ramp this down because this ain't what's going down. And he can't force that kid to help ramp it up. And the kid wasn't going to do it. Thank God. And so we got out of there. So actually, I got some stories that are like that. Tons of those, dude.
Well, anyone that's really unfortunate. You just hate to hear that, especially, you're into the 80s already and you're still getting that crap.
Yeah, you get it now, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But, people are, my biggest thing, man, when we're talking to folk, man, human beings are human beings, man. They got, some folk act a fool, and you can put, I don't care what stripe you put on them. It's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Theologically, I got my reason for why I believe that's the way it is. But I believe empirically I can prove that's the way it is. But I'm believing that through things like music, guys and girls getting to know each other, talk to each other, Of course, my core belief is that ultimately around the gospel of Jesus Christ, people will get to learn each other and treat each other better, because everybody will find out that they all fall short and need a savior. Say it like it is. And when they get to understand that, you can stop looking down your nose at people and picking unnecessary fights.
Amen. So is there any show that on the musical side just really stands out to you that was like, wow?
I remember playing with when Steve and us, we did a show in Orlando. Oh my goodness. Disney. Oh man. As a matter of fact, we wrote, I forget the name of the song, but man, we had some nice ballads. The sun was right. The temperature was right. It wasn't hot. It was cold in New York, but we were in Orlando. The temperature was right. The stage was right. The sound was right. And I just remember being there and playing some colors. And man, we just had fun. We had fun. It was for the sound check. I think we played for so long, almost all afternoon, just coming up with ideas and playing music, because there was nobody but us. And we were the featured group at that time. That was a fun experience. Really had some fun experiences with Adams, with Mark, playing at some concerts, because he had a good ear. Mark had a very good ear for the way he would play against some of the colors I would play, some of the chord structures I would play. He just found a way to make it do what it do, because he had a good ear. I remember doing a concert in New Jersey like that. It was smoking. Then there was a down part after that, because some jerk tries to come up on stage blowing smoke in your face, blowing reefer in your face, it's like, dude, man, look, dude, we're trying to play a concert here. Where is the security? Can you get this guy and take it? I mean, literally coming up on how does he get up on the stage blowing smoke on the musicians?
Well, that could have been at Disney.
That wasn't at Disney.
I don't think so.
No, that wasn't at Disney. That was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was like, dude, somebody got to get this guy.
Were you shocked, when we lost Adams and lost Hicks? But I think they're both around 56 or so.
Yeah, they were young. Yeah, I was disappointed, because I hadn't. We were all living here in Ohio, Dayton area at that time, and I would share with them. They knew, everybody hung out. They see me. They know I was different. I was in a different lifestyle then. But they hang out and talk with me, because I was the last person. I couldn't judge them. I mean, I was doing the same junk, man. And I never liked for them. I wanted them to know that they had a hope beyond this life and outside of all this stuff. But they didn't mind, because you don't look down your nose at them. You leave that to that's God's business to convict them, handle all that. You just tell them what's going on, and then make sure they know that you can talk to me. We can hang out. And that didn't happen sometimes. They kept doing the lifestyle they kept doing, and unfortunately, as a result of that, they ended up losing their lives, and that was sad for me
Mm-hmm.
because I
Huge
liked
loss.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
huge loss.
I had so many laughs with those guys, man. And that's part of other stuff. You know it too, man. Some of the belly aching laughs that you have with them, man. Oh my gosh. It was as good as playing music.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some belly aching laughs with Mark Adams. See the twinkle in his eyes and his head roll back. Oh gosh. And Drac. Yeah, it was just the way it is, man.
It seemed like, because of Mark Adams and Mark Hicks and those guys, they still had that basic slave sound later in the 80s, but they just maybe didn't have as good a songwriting. I think that was maybe part of the reason they weren't hitting as hard as they did before.
Yeah, I think maybe they just didn't have some of the harmonic things that would take it. Because I'm gonna tell you, Ray, who played keyboards before with them, and Carter, good players, man. Ray is still a phenomenal player. He could play everything. Now they would end up with some good keyboard players. Not counting myself necessarily as one, but Ray could really play, and he put some good stuff on those albums. And I think when they got away from keyboard players that harmonically could capture that funk sound that they had and kind of give it a air and a space, kind of a little palette to sit on, it became they had less of an impact,
less distinctive.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because there weren't many. Man, there weren't many guys playing like that in funk bands. Funk bands were playing just basic chord, triad. And this got his place, but they weren't playing the harmonic structure that lend to the type of things that Slave was trying to do.
And there are a lot of colors in the vocals too, from Steve and Star and yeah. Are you surprised? I'm sure you are, that 40 years later, there's still the interest there is in a record like Showtime, and that it's being re-released, and hopefully it's going to open up to even more new, fresh ears, as well as those that have left it all this time.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I am a little surprised, but that it's happening, but not surprised musically, because I know what was done musically on it, and I know my brother, who, like I said, he's a Berkeley boy, and the music is original. And it's solid. It's not sounding like another band. It's not a rehash. It's if you remaster it and put it out, it's solid because it was well done. Jimmy Douglas is a great producer to do the original project.
What do you think he brought to it?
Jimmy knew how to get the track, or he knew how to get what he wanted on the tape. That's a gift. He knew timing wise how to relax, everybody to be relaxed, but he knew enough constraints because he knew he was putting together a commercial product, and Jimmy could get what he wanted on the tape. Remember I told you Jimmy had a great sense of when to hit that record button. So yeah, he bought that to it. Jimmy Douglas is definitely a prototype of he's what you would call what a producer of music is, where you're getting not only the best out of the artist, but I'm capturing it. And I'm able to now take it and present it in a way that best reflects on what we were trying to do and what we felt in the studio and that type of thing. So yeah, he's a good guy.
He makes sure the whole exceeds the sum of the parts.
Yeah, Jimmy's good.
And also unique with that record was the use of strings.
And that was unique, and that was good. And that was possible. My brother would put musically his musical progressions lend to the possibility to be able to do that, because you didn't like "Oh Baby Wait for Me" and all that kind of stuff. That's the motif that was there. My brother played with a way of playing with motifs in some tunes that lends itself to some possibilities when you talk about strings and movements and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was open enough to do that. It wasn't so clogged up.
Did you know all along that there would be strings, or was that something that was added later?
Not all along, but when it got into it, it was talked about it. But the nature of one of the things that we did, and that's probably the thing that identified it the best, is we never clogged it up. Now, sometimes people would want to clog it up, and maybe add this or do that. But as a basis, when we write, when my brother and I write, we don't clog it up. Because one of the things I know musically is you give the ear space to feel. You don't say everything that's possible. You don't have to. The ear fills it in. You give them enough space to fill it the way they want to. You have to be musically structured right in terms of Western music, or when I say Western, I'm talking about not from China or from the Middle East. But in the Western musical structure, when my approach is I like to write and create in a way that I leave space for you to fill in what feels right for you. I don't have to play every note in the chord. I have to play certain notes. But even if I'm playing ninths or 13ths, I can voice it in a way that still leaves it open for your ear to feel the way you want to feel. It's like, when you look at animation or even CGI for that, a lot of stuff, they don't have everything in because you can't. It's digital, but they get pretty close with the digital. But when you put frame by frame by frame, and when it goes fast enough, your brain fills it in. And you see what you want to see, even though that's not what's being done, but you reconcile it with your eyes. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, you put the pieces together in your head.
Yeah, you reconcile it with your eyes. The same thing happens with the ear musically. but you have to have enough of it there. So I don't like to clog it up. I like to leave it open enough for that. And so you can do some creative stuff on there, man, and make the pocket and make the colors really cool. So there's my secret sauce.
Oh, that's great. I appreciate you explaining that, Sam. And especially in funk music, I think, you know, the silent parts, the quiet parts are so critical to being in that groove, you know. If it's cluttered, it just can take it right out of it.
Yeah. That jazz cats used to tell me, man, it ain't what you play all the time. Hot rod, that's what they call it. It's what you don't play. And that's where I got it from. That's what makes it work, man. What you don't play. You got it? Yeah. Got it. I was all young, man. Those guys just scared me anyway, man. They were hard, bro.
That's quite an education you got from right there.
Yeah, they were kind of hard, bro.
Well, man, so you say you're still playing music today? In what capacity?
Well, I actually I've been getting my drum chops back. I got some keyboards, but just working on a lot of different stuff, mostly technique. And I've been working on some chops, but then I work on the technique. You got to play technique. You got to play chops. You got to play technique. You got to play chops. Technique is puts some tools in the tool bag. But that's what I do. My mom got me to doing it again, man, just a few years ago. She just passed a few months ago. But she said, Sam, you remember that you're a musician? He played drum. Like, yeah, right, Mom. Because she could see I was going through this really dry season, man, where I just wasn't feeling, I'm feeling something's missing. And it was just one of those little creative spaces that's part of me. There ain't no shame in it that I like, and that's music. But when I get into music, I like to get into it at a high level, a decent level. And so I didn't play it for a while because I knew what kind of work it would take to be clean. And man, I'm getting there. I'm actually pretty much cool with the drum part. Took a little bit because you haven't played like that in a while. But it takes time to get back in till you're in the space again. And now that I'm feeling the space, I don't drop off no more. You know, I'm a rocket dude.
bring it, man, bring it. You know, yeah. You mentioned, you know, your church association, and so much funk is sort of, you know, ended up in the church, I think, today.
Dude, there's some guys up in there that can play. Matter of fact, where I'm at, some of those young dudes don't even know how good they are. I'm talking about play. And that's where the cleanest musicians are now, in terms of solid music. Because the guys that just hop out there and go and don't learn anything, because they're free. They're playing to the glory of God. They're free. And that reminds me a lot of the jazz stuff. Cats were free. They just played, man. And some of the funk guys, they played, but now, it's not much playing when you got DJs and everything's contained in a loop or predefined. It doesn't elevate. We're going to spin it, we're going to rap on top of it, we're going to do that, and it's stuck there.
Well, so you got,
go anywhere.
In my mind, you got to be out there in the clubs and touring and doing all that work in front of people playing just to play and to find yourself musically and to find how you can connect to an audience before you record. Now, so many of them just are in a vacuum, just recording and making this music that's sort of sanitized and disconnected in a way.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Because music also, being a language, there's a syntax, and you don't know if you're connecting with people, if you're talking over their heads, or if you're not even reaching their feet, because you haven't proven the concept in front of people or in clubs or what have you. That's a very good point. They're throwing the dart on the against the wall, poof, and then they draw a bullseye around where the dart landed. No, that doesn't mean you hit the spot, bro. That's what they hit. Throw it on the barn anywhere, and then put your bullseye. No, there's a bullseye, and you got to learn how to hit it, not make up your own little bullseye. Because people understand what they understand. And if you don't connect with them, guessing at it is not a good idea. Now I tell you who I heard a couple weekends ago. They're from home. They were here. They were celebrating it. It's Lakeside Day. And was that last weekend? Whatever. It might have been the weekend. Anyway, they played downtown in Dayton. Man, Otis and those cats, they were smoking, dude. Lakeside was bringing it, man. Clean, great show, entertaining. Oh man, you got to get Otis in them. You had Otis on the show or any Lakeside cat?
I had Fred Alexander, the drummer.
Okay. Oh yeah, he was rocking it. He was rocking it. Yeah. So yeah, man. I got another friend out there that's a drummer. Used to play drums for the Gap Band. Raymond Calhoun.
Yeah, he's been on.
Raymond's been on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Raymond used to come to see me when I played in DC. He was a little younger than me.
He came on with Oliver Scott.
Yeah, Raymond. I love Raymond Calhoun. Yeah. He's such a cool dude, man.
He keeps it real. He just seems,
Raymond is cool, man. I used to like the cat coming to I just liked him in DC coming to hang out. Because he was such a nice guy. Nothing pretentious. Just a cool dude, man.
Yeah, well, and it keeps, some faith when you see a Lakeside still doing it and Come Functions out there not doing too bad. And who else is still? The Ohio Players even are still out there with Diamond and Billy and Chet. A few of the originals, and I hear they sound pretty good. So warms the heart to know that they're at least still out there doing it.
Yeah, Chet. Good guys, man.
Before I sign off, although it'll be a few weeks before this airs, it is my son's 18th birthday. So special birthday shout out to Nathan, 18 today. My one and only.
He's got it made. He's spoiled rotten.
He is. But I'll tell you, he knows a lot more about funk than any of his friends.
I'm sure he does. All right. Yeah. Well, you tell him if he got any questions about higher ed, getting in, keys to scholarships, different little things. Give Uncle Sam a call, bounce it off.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It's been great talking with you. And just, on behalf of the viewers and listeners and funk lovers everywhere, thank you so much for what you've contributed to the music.
Well, thank you for appreciating the music and playing music is important when you enjoy it yourself. And it's even more important when it's enjoyed by others. And that's what make the funk.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Truth in Rhythm. A big thank you goes out to our guest as well as to you, the viewer and listener. Also, much gratitude to Pleasure for supplying the show's funky opening and closing music. As a reminder, you can always access the complete list of linked shows by episode at funkandstuff.net. I urge you to support this program and receive the extra benefits along with that by subscribing to the Funk and Stuff channel on YouTube and sharing it with funk, R&B, and jazz lovers, joining Truth and Rhythm's membership program at Patreon, submitting a donation at funkandstuff.net, buying Everything is on the One, the First Guide to Funk book at Amazon, shopping at the Funky Things store for cool merchandise at funkandstuff.net, and linking through funkandstuff.net for all of your Amazon purchases. In addition, if you're an artist or anyone seeking proven, results-oriented professional marketing, PR, writing, or editing consultation or production, check out the media services section at funkandstuff.net. Also, I encourage you to drop me a line at scottg@funkandstuff.net. I love the feedback, suggestions, guest requests, appearance and sponsorship inquiries, and just talking about my favorite subject, groove-based music. For now, and as always, this is Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibing to the rhythm of the one.